The NFL trade deadline ended yesterday with some major moves. Well, I'm not going to go over every single trade just because some of them were not as important as others, obviously. We're going to be looking at the top 5 trades here and see which teams got very good deals and why it makes sense for both teams and what the outlook for both teams is going to be. But as always, please make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. It's been a lot of fun making these videos, and it really does help get me out there and help the channel grow. Hopefully going to have some more of these videos coming out soon. I am still currently looking for a job, and it's been a rough 7 months, but these videos have really helped me out, so I really thank every single one of you who have subscribed already. And if you feel that I've earned it today, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. I also want to thank today's video sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. The NFL season is fully underway right now, and the best place to play daily fantasy is Underdog Fantasy. All you have to do is select 2 players or more and select the higher or lower what you think they're going to do for that day. It could be anything from total yards to touchdowns, and the more players you add, the higher you can win. It's a great way to make Sundays more fun and have more fun celebrating those wins when you actually win some money. So for new customers, if you use my code TJS and play a $5 wager, you'll get $100 in bonus funds to continue playing. That's only $5 to get $100 in bonus funds. Make Sundays a little more fun, and I do videos every Saturday morning at 9:30 Central Time, so you can always join me at 9:30, ask your questions, and hopefully we'll win some money together. But I just want to thank Underdog Fantasy for our partnership and use that code TJS when signing up. But let's jump right back into the video. So we're gonna go through the top 5 trades that I think make most sense for each and every team. So let's go ahead and start with number 5, Logan Wilson to the Dallas Cowboys from the Cincinnati Bengals. Cowboys get Wilson. The Bengals receive a 2026 7th round pick. Wilson had been developing very well at the linebacker position. He's a very good coverage linebacker. He also has a very good skill set that you really can't teach. He's a calm second level communicator. He's got a strong diagnosis when it comes to reading play action to decide if it's a run or a pass, and he's got pretty decent tackling and coverage ability. This isn't going to be a flashy player that, is going to get all the headlines, but it's something that Dallas desperately needs. They need more stability at the linebacker position. Since getting rid of Micah Parsons, which again, you can argue was a good trade or a bad trade. I'm leaning towards a bad trade, but that's my opinion. Losing somebody with that leadership ability has really shown how bad Dallas's defense is. They are ranked 31st. 31st. In fantasy, they give away the most points to wide receiver, 15th most to the tight end position, and 5th to the running back position. They give up a lot of points. A lot. So they need somebody who's a little more reliable, a little more stable, a little more able to diagnose plays, and I think Logan Wilson is going to do that for the Dallas Cowboys. And giving up a 7th round pick is a nothing burger for them. So this is actually going to really help their defense, and I think build more stability by having leadership to help that defense grow. Granted, I think Dallas needs more of a cornerback, but that's just me. Not a perfect day for Dallas, but I think this was a great start to the day. The trade also made sense for the Bengals. They are moving to a more youthful movement. They're trying to get their young guys in, and Wilson was getting pushed out and becoming more of a rotational player. They also have been spending a lot of money on people like Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, so they need to start shedding contracts no matter the price. The trade makes sense for something like that. Again, 7th round pick isn't going to be a huge piece, but at least it's something for Wilson. So again, good trade for both sides. Like I said, the move isn't going to be groundbreaking in the sense of, greatest trade of all time, but it raises Dallas's defensive floor. They aren't going to be as much of a pushover with somebody like Wilson who's going to be able to diagnose plays. It won't dominate highlight reels, but it will help for them to hopefully try to push for a playoff spot. For Cincinnati, it helps them move to a younger position, like I mentioned, and again, it just kind of makes sense to shed that kind of contract to get something in return. Shaheed from the New Orleans Saints to the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattles get Shaheed, and the Saints get a 2026 4th round and 5th round pick. Shaheed's had a decent career in New Orleans so far. He hasn't really been that number 1 option, but he's always been a good, reliable receiver that's able to get open and get touches. He's already had 44 receptions for 499 yards and 2 touchdowns through 9 games this season. His value is being a vertical threat and being able to get that ball deep. Even if he's pulling that safety deep and not getting the ball thrown to him, he's opening the field for JSN and other receivers. So he has a lot of value even if he's not touching the ball. At first look, the trade doesn't make a lot of sense for Seattle because they already got JSN, they have Cooper Kupp, and Horton looks like he's starting to break out. But the more you look into it, the more it does make sense. JSN is a great receiver. He is their number 1. Cooper Kupp cannot spread the field the way he used to. He's already been hurt, and Horton just doesn't have that ability yet either. So getting somebody like Shaheed, who is going to be able to be that deep ball threat, is going to open up JSN up ridiculously. It's going to have that Seattle offense running a lot smoother. And why this trade makes sense for the Saints is they are in rebuilding mode. Let's be honest. They don't have a ton of players that are going to be able to be cornerstones of their franchise. Yeah, they hope that Tyler Shuck turns into somebody. But Cam Jordan's getting older. Chris Olave is probably getting out of there. Kamara's getting older and probably is going to get out of there here soon too. A 4th and 6th round pick to most teams is going to be a fringe starter, maybe a special teams player, but most likely a cut candidate. For somebody like the Saints who are going to be in rebuild mode here, they're probably going to be starters at least. So it makes sense. They need all the draft capital they can get. They are going to need to start rebuilding this team as soon as possible. Maybe even it's trade bait. Who knows? But it's a good value for Shaheed and something that helps the Saints out in the long run. Shaheed is a much needed weapon in the Seattle offense, and I think it's going to raise their ceiling much higher. Jalen Phillips from the Miami Dolphins to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles receive Phillips, and the Dolphins receive a 2026 third-round pick. I had mentioned that Phillips should get traded here pretty soon. Yeah, the team was wrong, but he did get traded, so I'm going to count that as I was right. He has been a solid player in Miami. He's just coming up on a roadblock where, his contract's coming up. Miami's paying him a lot of money, but Miami's going to be in rebuild mode, shedding a lot of contracts, so getting a third-round pick who's going to be a starter for them makes sense. He has 3 sacks and 25 tackles already on this season. He has been hurt in his career, so he is coming back from that, but when he's fully healthy, he is an incredible player. This trade makes complete sense for the Eagles. They build their defense around pass rushers, and that's what Jalen Phillips is able to do. He'll probably be their starter, but the thing about Philadelphia is they have so much depth that they are going to be able to pressure the quarterback every single down. It's going to be hard to play against them. Their defense should be that good. The trade also makes sense for Miami. Like I said, they're in rebuild mode. Tyreek's gone. Even if he wanted to come back to Miami, I think his injury, he's not going to be the same player. So Tyreek's gone. They have to decide what they're doing at quarterback because I don't think Tua is the answer, but they gave him a big contract, so we'll see what happens there. They're trading away assets. They are going to be rebuilding here for the foreseeable future. So shedding a contract like Phillips makes sense just because, again, they need to start rebuilding. They need to start getting their team in order. So good contract shed for a third-round pick who, like I said, is probably going to be a starter for you next year. A good trade. Number 2, Quinnen Williams from the New York Jets to the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys receive Williams, and the Jets receive a 2026 second-round pick and a 2027 first-round pick and defensive tackle Maisie Smith. This was the second most shocking trade of the day. Williams is the anchor for that Jets defense. And yes, the Jets have been miserable this season. I feel for Jets fans, especially this kid.
I hate this team.
But still, Williams was somebody that you would build a defense around. It made no sense for him to even be on the trade block, but now he is gone. His impact on the field is felt immediately for whatever team he plays for. This trade made sense for Dallas in a number of ways. Like I said, their defense is awful. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. They're going to be able to fill some gaps with Williams. I think their pass rush is going to be much better, especially with him and Wilson now coming into Dallas. Wilson is going to be able to diagnose play action better and help those linebackers and cornerbacks. Williams is going to be able to fill the gaps and be able to stop the run. It's a match made in heaven for Dallas and instantly projects them to be a better defense. Again, not as good as like somebody like the Texans, but a very good defense. Now all they need is cornerback help, and I think that team is really going to be something. The Jets, on the other hand, it's a questionable move, because this isn't going to just be a trade for the Cowboys of this year as a rental. They're going to get Williams long term. He's still young. And the other thing is they kept this year's first round pick in Dallas. This year's. The one with probably the most value. They're one of those teams that are like, could be something, could not be, but they're probably going to have a higher draft pick this year than next year. So that screams to me that next year Dallas is going to try to be more all in. These trades, I think, say that, and the compensation they're able to keep also says that. But getting a second round pick this year, again, that should be a higher draft pick than next year, is strong. Then the year after is first, which again, it'll be a higher first, but you can use that as a trade package. And again, even in the 2027 draft, the Jets should be in the top 10 draft. Let's be honest with ourselves. Even if they go quarterback in next year's draft, they're still going to be a top 10, drafting team. So you could use that to even move up again next year. That's just me spitballing. Overall, the Jets are going to be in rebuild mode. I feel like they've been like that their entire existence. So it's no surprise. And number 1, Sauce Gardner from the New York Jets to the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts receive Sauce Gardner. The Jets receive a 2026 first round pick, a 2027 first round pick, and AD Mitchell. Yeah, this trade isn't fair. It's not fair. The Colts get an immediate upgrade at a position they needed upgrading at. The Colts have a very good team, a very good defense, and this trade literally solidified that to the point where they are going to be AFC contenders. They're going to go to the AFC Championship game if everyone stays healthy. And while, yes, you can look at the Colts and say the best record in football, they also played a very weak schedule, and still cornerback looked like a weakness for them. They are now going into the hardest part of their schedule. And yes, Daniel Jones didn't look great last weekend, but it shows that they still believe in him by going for somebody like Gardner and giving up 2 first-round picks. Especially with the teams coming up they're playing, they're going to need somebody to cover the number 1 receivers for these better teams that they're going to be playing. I don't think it's too far-fetched to say that this is going to basically make the Colts even more of a contender than they already were. The only question is can they stay healthy? Is Daniel Jones more of what he was the first few weeks, or was he more of what he was last week? Those are going to be the 2 major questions you have. If the answer to them is yes, Daniel Jones is what he was the first few weeks, this is just a blip and everyone stays healthy, there's no reason they shouldn't be in the Super Bowl. Let's be honest. They should be in the Super Bowl with this trade. Why it makes sense for the Jets? It doesn't. Yes, I just said the Jets were in rebuild mode, and Quinnen Williams, you can make the argument. Cornerback is one of the hardest positions to get. It is basically like quarterback for the defense. It is a hard position to find a, Darrelle Revis, Pat Surtain, Derek Stingley, Sauce Gardner. It's hard to find guys like this. And while, yes, you guys are floundering, yeah, you guys are, 1-7. I don't know how you give up somebody like Gardner unless he demanded the trade. Gardner did not ask for this trade. He said he didn't even see it coming. So I don't understand how you can feel comfortable trading away somebody that good. Well, yes, you get 2 first-round picks. They're going to be late first-round picks. The Colts are going to win the AFC South if Daniel Jones is closer to week 1 through 6 of himself and not last week. But we shall see what happens there. But with the compensation, the Jets are going full rebuild mode. But the question is are they going to be able to do it? We shall see. It just feels like the Jets are a cursed franchise. I don't know how, but they are. But that's just what I think, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments down below. Am I overreacting? Am I way off base here? Or do you agree with me? Are these some of the best trades you've seen in a while? Let me know down in the comments down below. Thank you again for everyone who's already subscribed, and please feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Share this video with all your friends. Follow me on X here, and until the next one, have a good one.